And we call them the British royal family. No, they're not. They're the German, Danish, Greek, Russian, anything else involved royal family. Same with all the others around bloody Europe. Same bloody family. And, oh no, they're only symbolic now and for ceremonial purposes. Bollocks. She talks about my government. Why? Because that is what it is. She talks about my parliament. It's my military, my MI5, my MI6, my courts, my church. All the people in those organisations, including the representatives of the people, have to say a pledge of allegiance, an oath of allegiance, to her, not the people. It's a bloody joke. And this idea that it's symbolic, rubbish, rubbish. I mean, when you meet the Prime Minister, whoever it is, are you supposed to bow or curtsy? No, but he is to her. Where's the power here? I mean, what a joke. Look at him. I mean, do you know, I feel sad really, because these people, they go off to wars and, you know, put themselves in bloody danger. I don't agree they should, because they put other people in bloody danger at all. As well, called children and people. But, I mean, what are you... What, oh, my God. Beam me up, Scotty. It's mad down here. Get me out. I've had enough. And then there's this royal bloody household that we're paying for. Did you know that there's a gold stick and a silver stick on the royal household? At least they have metallic value. That's probably a good thing. There's a groom of the stole. There's a field officer in brigade waiting. He's always walking up and down, looking pissed off, looking at his watch. He'd be a lot better using his time keeping an eye on that groom of the stole before he nicks something else, I think. And then they've got a clerk of the closet. And even worse, they've got a deputy clerk of the closet. What do they do? Pull the chain? Is it the royal flush? What do they do? Hello, mate, what do you do? Oh, I'm a deputy clerk of the closet. No, don't piss about. What do you do? Then there's they used to have a removing wardrobe. At least they got rid of him. Removing wardrobe. What do? I remove wardrobes, yeah. Do you ever bring them back? Oh, no, bring back wardrobe does that. I mean, oh, bloody hell. We're paying for this. The British royal family, proof that God has a sense of humour. That's my view, anyway. Now, what is the dynamic here with these bloodlines? Well, like I said, they operate with invisible light on behalf of entities that operate outside of visible light. And if you take the analogy of the scientist standing outside the tank, working inside the tank through the gloves with material that's too dangerous to work with, you take the tank to be our reality, the scientists to be these entities, and the gloves to be these bloodlines that allow them to manipulate within this reality. That's the basic dynamic of why they exist and what they're doing. This is Neil Haig's depiction here of the theme. And thus, these entities have their own agenda. And it's not the human agenda for what's best for humans, it's what's best for the agenda of control of humans. And if you take the Trojan horse analogy and you put that on, then you've pretty much got what it is. It's infiltration of human society while appearing not to be infiltrating because everyone looks human, but only with invisible light. Now, here's the journey of these bloodlines. You can pick it up at some point through history. It goes way back. Let's pick it up here. These societies, these more advanced societies, Egypt, Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, China, etc., they started to appear as the first more advanced societies after the cataclysm. What history does is pick up the cradle of civilization in places like Sumer and what have you. That wasn't the cradle of civilization. These societies were when human society had reached a certain point again after recovering from the great cataclysmic events that destroyed the previous society, much more advanced. In this area of the world, Sumer, which is now, of course, Iraq, became Babylon, why there's so much Babylon symbolism in human society today. Egypt, a lot of the bloodlines came from here, but they were seeded all over the world. And they talked about entities interbreeding with humans and creating royal bloodlines and what have you in various tablets found in Iraq, under Iraq in the last century or so. And these bloodlines moved out into northern Europe. They became the founders of Rome, and they interbred with other bloodlines in Europe, and they became the European royal families and aristocracy. And eventually, through the great British Empire, the French Empire, great only in size, by the way, in my view, and other European empires, they sent these bloodlines all over the world in the great colonial frenzy of taking the planet over. But there's two types of control. One has a finite life, one has an infinite life until it's exposed. The one that has a finite life is when you, like fascism, communism, apartheid, that which is subject to the control can see the controllers. Because eventually, it might take some time, there will be a rebellion against that. The greatest form of control is control you can't see, where they give you a vote every 4 or 5 years, and yet behind the scenes, the same people are in power behind the scenes all the time, no matter who's officially in power in politics. And that's what they did in the colonial system. They apparently withdrew back into their countries and gave independence to the former colonies like the United States and Canada and etc. around the world. But what they did was left out in those countries the bloodline under different names and the secret society network through which they manipulate the bloodline and its agents into power, and they've gone on covertly controlling those countries ever since. And what they've created is a secret society and bloodline version of a transnational corporation. What happens with a transnational corporation? Take McDonald's, please. Take McDonald's, if you will, as far as you can. But take McDonald's as an example. They have a headquarters in America, and in each country they have subsidiaries. And the subsidiaries carry out the diktats of their headquarters. And thus, if you go into a McDonald's in Russia or Australia or South Africa or wherever, you go into basically the same McDonald's. What they've done with the Bloodline Global Network is they have a headquarters. Funnily enough, America's very, very influential, but the headquarters is in Europe. It's in places like the City of London, Rome, Brussels, Berlin, etc., Paris. And from the center, they have subsidiaries in the different countries. These are subsidiary networks of bloodlines under different names and the secret society network within that country. And that network's brief or job is to impose in their sphere of influence, their country, what is centrally dictated from the headquarters. Thus, as I've traveled around the world, I've seen the same things being introduced in different countries around the same time, often justified by the same excuses. And it even goes further, because the national network has subsidiaries in the towns, cities and communities. And thus, from the headquarters, they can manipulate down into a local community, if they wish, through this network. And they've created this structure in which they have not just infiltrated, but created the organizations that run and control the direction of the world. I get into some of them. But what the vast, overwhelming majority of researchers into this conspiracy do not see, or do not want to go there, is the fact that there comes a point where this human network goes up into or out into other dimensions of reality, and the dictating force is not human. And common themes. The number of times you see around the world depictions in different societies of half-human, half-reptile entities. This is obviously in Asia. And the depiction of the interaction between reptilian entities and humans, and part human, part something else. The gargoyles on the churches built by these secret societies, like the Knights Templar, and on the castles and mansions of the elite bloodlines, they are symbolically these entities. So many of the coats of arms of these bloodlines carry reptilian themes. The whole logo of the City of London, or Babylon, as I call it, because it's one of the great central focuses of control, not only through finance either, is a reptilian holding the red cross and the white background of the Knights Templar, one of the major secret societies. what are you... What? Oh, my God. Beam me up, Scotty. It's mad down here. Get me out. I've had enough. And then there's this royal bloody household that we're paying for. Did you know that there's a gold stick and a silver stick on the royal household? At least they have metallic value. That's probably a good thing. There's a groom of the Saints, an oath of allegiance to her, not the people. It's a bloody joke. And this idea that it's symbolic, rubbish, rubbish. I mean, when you meet the Prime Minister, whoever it is, are you supposed to bow or curtsy? No, but he is to her. And we call them the British royal family. No, they're not. They're the German, Danish, Greek, Russian, anything else involved royal family. Same with all the others around bloody Europe. Same bloody family. And, oh no, they're only symbolic now and for ceremonial purposes. Bollocks. She talks about my government. Why? Because that is what it is. She talks about my parliament. It's my military, my MI5, my MI6, my courts, my church. All the people in those organisations, including the representatives of the people, have to say a pledge of allegiance. Where's the power here? I mean, what a joke. Look at him. I mean, do you know, I feel sad really because these people... They go off to wars and, you know, put themselves in bloody danger. I don't agree they should, because they put other people in bloody danger at all, as well, called children and people. But, I mean...